and welcome or welcome back. My name is Shannon. This is Made by Boo, and this is where I stop and talk about some of my projects. I am recording today from a little bit outside of Boise, Idaho, as usual. And I have one finished object, one so close to finished object. I totally intended it to be a finished object today, and two works in progress. And we're going to go ahead and just dive right into the actual finished project that I have. I feel like all my projects are taking me so much longer than I intend them to lately. And then I start feeling bad about how long they take me, and then I feel bad about feeling bad about it, and yeah. So this is the Bay Day Tea. I have not blocked it because I finished it Tuesday after work, and we could talk a little more in live stuff, but I am still waiting on repairs to my house. So the best place that I have for something to dry when I block it is on my bed. So if I finish something late at night and it's like I can't leave it anywhere else. So it has not been blocked. I am going to have to pin my ribbing everywhere when I'm done. I did make a couple of alterations to this. Let me reverse. So this is the Bay Day Tea. The pattern is by Brianna Lupino of the Little Wolf Knits. The main color is Lone Wolf. That was part of her Wolf Pack collection. I don't think she still makes it, but in her most recent podcast, she did state that she's not really dyeing yarn right now due to moving situation. But I thought I saw some in her ready to ship. So it's definitely worth a shot looking if you are interested. The ribbing for the collar, sleeves, and bottom is just leftover Cascade Heritage. I genuinely have no idea what the color number is. I think it's like a charcoal or something like that. So the Bay Day Tea is supposed to have like a scalloped bottom. I just instead put like an equal amount of ribbing at the bottom. I've made the Bay Day tank, which has that, and when I made that, the way that I knit, it just was constantly like rolling up, so you didn't get that cute scallop, and that was after blocking. So when I did that one, I ended up pulling it out and then re-knitting it down and just doing a ribbing at the bottom, and I liked that better. So that is just what I did for this one. That's the only alteration I made. I know she does tend to do a lot of cropped stuff, so I think mine's probably a little longer than she says to knit hers, but I am just a little bit longer waisted, so most of the shirts I make are longer than the pattern states. So yeah, it does need to be blocked. The ends are woven in. I just need to snip them, which I usually do after blocking. And I have little light bulb markers everywhere that I need to take out before I can block it. I don't have a ton left over. I had 2 skeins of the yarn. I probably could have gone a little longer, but when I tried it on pre-blocking, I think I'm going to be very happy with the length. And then I do still have a whole bunch left over. Whatever color of this Cascade Heritage, it is left over from when I recently did a Jethro cardigan, and I had almost an entire skein, so I used a little bit more of it, but it was like she gives like a measurement, but for me it ended up being like 5 rounds and then a sewn bind off to be what I wanted it to be. Sometimes collars and everything I'll do a little shorter than the pattern says, so I genuinely don't remember what she said to do there. But yeah, finished object. Needs to be blocked. I'm sure you will see it again. I really wanted to block it before filming today, but there was just no way that I could fit that in the middle of the week. And while I could have started blocking it like Friday night and potentially had a place to put it, like the blocking and the drying in my house is just a little annoying right now. And so I'm probably going to block it first thing tomorrow morning so it has all day to dry. And that means I could either show it finished and potentially, I don't know, maybe I'll wear it next time, maybe I won't. Or I could block it and then have it soaking wet. And I chose instead to go showing it now and blocking it later. So that is my only actual finished object. The one that's really, really close does still technically fall under works in progress. All right, so let me grab this because I left it out of my reach. Ooh, don't fall. Please don't fall. Okay, so I do technically have 3. One I started a while ago, but I didn't really work on much, so I haven't really talked about it much in a long time. This is almost done. I should have finished it last night, but I got distracted playing Stardew Valley. I don't know, I just kind of wanted to finish it and be done, and then I kind of didn't. So this is a Tunisian crocheted pot holder. Nothing really fancy about it. It's just a basic Tunisian crochet stitch. I used Lily Sugar and Cream that I've had in stash for a very, very long time. I fear that I didn't get them like actually even, but I think they're going to be close enough that it's fine. It's just I keep looking at it and I'm like, why? I don't know if my tension was different or if I thought I had the same number of rows and I didn't. Because it's very possible that I was off by 1, which is not a ton, but it's enough to make it kind of a little different. So I did the front in this color. I don't think I have any labels. Because again, this is old, been in my stash. I don't think either of these was full when I started it. But it makes me think of like a Neapolitan ice cream where it's got a couple shades of pink, a couple shades of tan, and some white. And then this tan for the back. This is just like a good way to learn Tunisian crochet. I did a Tunisian crochet class through the Love and Stitches membership like months ago, and this was what everybody was working on. I did another one. I missed the middle one, and I keep meaning to watch it, and I just haven't gotten time. But, yeah, so all I actually have to do is, it's a single crochets around the edge, and I got halfway, and then just, I don't know, my brain just was like, okay, well, I'll be right back to that, and then I didn't finish it. So I am going to finish this today. It should have been a finished object. And there was a part of my brain that's like, okay, well, no, you didn't finish it last night, but you'll definitely finish it before you record tomorrow. Even knowing fully everything that I needed to do this morning, and that I was not going to be working on this before recording today. So I am going to finish this today. I'm going to force myself to finish it, and then it'll just be crochet up the 2 sides, make sure all the ends are in, and it'll just be a great thing. The other one that I've made previously, I just kind of use it, like, I'm not using it as like an oven mitt kind of pot holder. I'm literally just putting hot things on it, and it works really well for that. Tunisian crochet does tend to be very, very thick, and this is double layered Tunisian crochet, so yeah, almost a finished object. It should have been a finished object, but is not a finished object. The next one you did see last time. This is the project I was working on from the other Tunisian crochet class that I attended, that I had to pull out the entire thing. I am not super duper far on it. I'm working on it a little bit every day, but it's just one of those where, I don't know, it's just not going super fast. So this is Tunisian crochet in the round, and it is using the Tunisian knit stitch, and it is going to be an e-reader cozy. When you hold it, I think it's a books that my daughter has. I don't actually have an e-reader, and at first I was like, ooh, I'll make myself a laptop cozy or a phone cozy or an iPad cozy, things that I actually have, and then I'm working on this so slowly, and I'm like, or I may never do this again. We'll see. Because it is fun. I do enjoy it, and there's that part of me that would kind of like to do like a larger Tunisian crochet garment, but Tunisian crochet is just not something I always reach for. So it is 2 colors. You can see on the inside like the huge contrast, but on the outside it's just almost more of like a shadow thing. I don't know how well this is going to pick up there. They're both just leftover yarn. This was, I'm 99% sure, leftover Cascade Heritage. I think I made a shrug out of it because it looks like the right color for that. This, I genuinely don't know what color this is or what I used it for previously. It really looks to me like it was So Happy Jane, but I just pulled it out of my leftover yarn bin, so I don't know, but it is really pretty. It's got these little flecks of like green and yellow, and it's like, it looks white, but it's not quite. And it's got these little springy pastel flecks in it. It is really pretty. So it is probably about halfway to the top. It looks a little small. It's definitely one of those where it's a little snug putting it on. And I mean, I do intend to block it after it's done, so that'll probably give it just a little bit. But it's a cozy, so you don't want it to be like super big. Then it's a bag. A cozy is supposed to fit snug and cozy. So yeah, I'm working on it. When we showed it last time, it was down here-ish, and now it's up here. I'm slowly working on it. Again, just a little bit every day, and should finish it soon. The last few weeks, I just feel like I haven't made as much progress on any project as I used to. And I was never like a super fast maker, but I definitely feel like some of my projects are just taking longer than they used to. And it's probably mostly in my head because realistically, there's no requirement for them to go faster. But I'm still just like, why am I still working on this? Why am I still working on this? My last project, that's a work in progress. I am still very much enjoying it, but it is a big advent calendar project, which means it takes forever. And I am making it bigger than the pattern suggests. So this is the Calico Quilt Shawl. It is made with these triangles, picking up stitches and working them on top of each other. So minimal ends to weave in. Like on the back, I keep telling myself I'm going to weave these in now that I'm finishing stuff up, but it's like 2 ends per color, no seaming, anything like that. So I have the first 2 rows done. The last time I showed it, I was on the last color of row 2, and I have only started the first color of row 3. I definitely, with the changing in time that I've had to work on my projects, I did focus on finishing my Bay Day tee, and this kind of backburnered, but I do have another project I'd like to start. I might make myself wait a week to start it and just kind of make this my main project and try to work through the last ones that I have. Because working on too many projects lately, I'm just not getting anything done. So we'll kind of see how I feel. I have to wind the yarn for the next project I want to do anyways, so we'll see. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of halfway, but as the rows are getting bigger each time, I'm going to go ahead and say like a third of the way through this triangle. It will go up and pyramid off. So this is color number 17 of 25. The advent calendar, I don't think I said it yet. This is the 2025 advent calendar from Chelsea Yarn. It was Holiday in London themed. Sometimes you look at the colors and I'm not sure you can always tell what the theme was. Looking at this, I'm not sure I would have instantly thought Holiday in London for everything. Like this one, I'm not sure that totally screams Hollywood in London, but I love the colors. So like whether they're themed correctly or not, I love it. And the advent came with 24 colors. I do need to pull something out of my leftover yarns at some point, but I'm 99% sure. Yeah, it's going to be 5 rows, and I'm just starting row 3. So I'm just figuring I will pick the triangle that is row 5 when I am done or almost done with row 4 because I want it to fit in well with everything. And while I kind of wish that I'd thought of this before I selected this project for this shawl, once I decided I wanted to do this shawl, the colors of this one, it was just like, no, it's perfect. This is how it should be. So I've just kind of been putting it off this future me's problem, and eventually that's catching up with me now, but not yet. So that's all my works in progress. It's really not a lot, but again, I feel like I haven't been making a lot of progress on things, so I'm trying not to have too many projects when I'm feeling like I'm not having time to work on them. I have not really talked about goals much over the last couple of videos. My recording schedule has been way off, so we're going to go ahead and talk about goals. Alright, so at the beginning of 2026, I did have a couple of very simple goals. I wanted to work on more garment making, which, as I just showed a finished shirt, and it is not my first finished shirt of the year, clearly I am still focused on that. Then I also have a shawl, and Most of what I've been making has been garments, excluding socks. Like, I have just not really been in a sock mood this year. I am still wearing my handmade socks, but I think I just kind of burnt out on handmade socks because I used to always have one going. So that is still definitely a goal of mine. The next project that I do want to start is a Tulsta tee. And so clearly garments and larger projects are still what's on my mind. I very much am definitely struggling, I think, a little bit with that because they take longer to do. I'm not typically a one project at a time person. I usually more of kind of go with like zone knitting, where I'll have a small project that I travel with, a project that I work on primarily upstairs, and a project that I work on primarily downstairs. And this summer, with work being done, needing to be done on my house, it's thrown all of my routine off. And so I'm still having those zones, but I don't feel like I'm working on projects in the same way. So who knows, maybe as everything gets back to normal, I will decide to readjust that. Or maybe once things start to get back to somewhat normal, I'll be like, oh, finally. And I'll feel like I'm making progress again. We'll kind of see how it goes. The other goals that I had, one of them was the same as last year, where I would like to use more yarn than I purchase. I'm not always doing so hot on that. Not because I am purchasing a lot of yarn. I have not purchased yarn much. You'll kind of get why in a minute. Not only much this year, but not much since May. So we haven't really gone over this much since May. So I do have my little notebook. I know you're not going to be able to read anything on it here. So we haven't really gone over my numbers at all in a few months. And I'm probably just going to keep a running tab right now. So at the beginning of May, based on the number of skeins of yarn I had when I did a video a year ago, I should have had 308 skeins of yarn in stash. This is not counting mini skeins or partial skeins. Like, I didn't count any leftovers. I didn't count any mini skeins that way. But it was just 308 skeins. If there was a sock set, that counted as one. If it was a giant skein, that counted as one. But when it got down to advent calendar mini skeins, I just did not count those at all. I gained one skein of yarn in the entire month of May and finished no major projects that removed yarn. I gained one skein in June. And those were both from Hypnotic Yarn because they do get yarnable. And I know if I'm trying to use more yarn than I buy, I probably should cancel that, but I do really enjoy getting it. In June, I did also remove 3 skeins of yarn from stash from a t-shirt that I made using Little Wolf Knits yarn. And then I also removed 4 skeins of yarn of Cascade Heritage from stash by finishing my Jethro tee. Jethro cardigan. The Jethro cardigan also did use up a lot of leftovers, but I don't really have a way that I'm tracking those. I didn't really want to do the grams in, grams out and try to weigh all my leftovers. And that was so much more work than I wanted to do because I felt like in order to really know what the reduction was there, I would have to weigh everything. So none of that leftover stuff really counted. Then in the month of July, again, I just gained one Hypnotic yarn, and that was it. Gained one Hypnotic yarn already in August. Removed 2 skeins of Little Wolf Knits from my Bay Day tee, but I did also purchase 4 skeins of yarn for the Tulsta tee that I want to start. So I know I calculated this out from the beginning of May until now. That is, I did all of this. And I'm now remembering. So it kind of came down to only a net of loss of 1. So that was 3 big projects finished. But because I purchased yarn, I'm really only 1 skein of yarn down. If I had not purchased the yarn for the Tulsta tee, then I would be down more than that. But the next project that I had kind of as an idea that I might work on was going to be I'm blanking on it, 2nd Avenue sweater. From the Little Wolf Knits, I've made the pattern before. I have the boucle yarn set aside to make it. I'm really looking forward to making it. But it's also August and it's really hot. And so I was just like, I don't really want to start working on that yet. So maybe no. And I do have the yarn that I just purchased here. I don't usually really do acquisitions because I'm trying to reduce my yarn, not brag about how much I did. Doing a haul video when I'm trying to reduce how much yarn I had feels a little weird. But it is still in the crinkly package. This is the yarn that I purchased for it. Sorry, I'll take it away from the mic and take one out so we don't have to keep hearing the crinkle the whole time. Okay, so this is from Yarn Loving Lady. I found it on Etsy. It is a DK weight yarn, and the color that I got was Disco Nights. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see that, but it's a really pretty gray, but it's got like these bright, almost neon flecks in it. And I think this is going to make a really great semi-neutral but fun shirt. It's DK weight, so it'll go a little faster. And it'll be warm enough that I can still kind of layer it in the winter. My plan is to maybe make it like elbow sleeve. If I have enough, I'll make it like 3/4 sleeve because that might be a really nice transitional piece where it's like not too hot, not too cold. I don't know. I purchased 4 skeins of yarn. Usually for a sweater, I can get by with 3, but sometimes they end up a little more cropped than I like, so I decided to just go for it and get the 4th and figure I'd rather have the extra yarn than not enough. So I did purchase it 4 skeins of yarn, but I purchased it for a specific pattern. And honestly, the only thing that has hesitated me in winding that up and getting it in my sweater bag now that the Bay Day tee is done is, one, I would like to make a little bit more progress on my shawl. So I'm debating just waiting an extra week to start another project to knock some more out. And my house is still dealing with construction issues, so I don't have my normal easy set up for winding yarn. So it's like, it's not impossible, but it just makes it a little bit more of a pain. So the only other little bit to do with goals is just kind of keeping an eye on everything else that I'm working on. Oh, I didn't write that down. I didn't write down when I finished my Bay Day tee the other day. Oh, no, that's because we're in August. I did write it down in the correct month. Man, I did stop working on my Coziest Memory blanket like 3 months ago with the idea of I'm not going to worry about it right now because I have this and this going on and I'm just going to focus on the other ones. And I haven't been motivated to pick it back up, which I'm not really excited about because that was the last goal I had. The last goal I had was to work on using leftover yarn. I wanted to always have a project going that involved leftover yarn. So I am still technically able to say that I'm doing that because I do have my Tunisian crochet cozy. But when that one is done, if I don't start another one or start working on that Coziest Memory blanket again, then I will no longer be keeping up with that goal. But if I don't, I am still technically happy with the progress that I have made with getting rid of leftovers. At the beginning of the year, I had like 4 baskets with leftover yarn in them in different weights. And I'm now down to like kind of 2. I've got my Coziest Memory yarn is still kind of taking up its normal space. I've got my largest chunks of yarn still there. But the other 2 sizes have both been incorporated into projects and are not, those ones are gone. Or at least mostly gone. So I feel a lot better about my leftover yarn. If I don't get as much done on that, I'm not going to worry. So I feel like I'm doing pretty good on my goals, even if not all of them are how I thought they'd be. I feel like I am achieving what I wanted to achieve so far this year, and I am still making progress. So that means that all that is really left to talk about is life. So some of the life stuff is easy peasy to talk about, no big deal, normal stuff. I have been working a lot. My boss is still on maternity leave, so some parts of my job are still a little, I say a little, they are still a lot busier than they would normally be, but it's it's nothing excessively chaotic or interesting. I mean, nobody necessarily cares about the drama of people who they don't know, especially when it's not actually like big drama. It's just like, yep, this is what frustrated me today. I could try to get into like why the treatment planning I was trying to do got interrupted, and it's all just, it's relevant in that building. Outside of that building, it's just complaining about stuff that nobody even totally understands, or at least to a point cares about. Like, not saying you guys don't care, but also like it's, the context is not there, so the whole thing is different. My brother did visit last weekend, and some of us went to Banana Ball. So if you're not aware of what Banana Ball is, there is a league of baseball. Their biggest teams is the Savannah Bananas, which is part of why I think it's Banana Ball. It's baseball related, like highly based on baseball, but they have like their own rules. And they have a lot of fun while doing it. The teams, the party animals and the tailgaters, were here in Boise. We had entered like the random drawing to be able to buy tickets. Like, it was a hard thing to get these tickets. And so we were going to go, my husband, myself, and my youngest child, and then my brother and his wife. And so we were all real excited to be able to go. It was like 105 that day. So everybody was overheating, and we're getting there early enough to watch the pre-show. We're like right in the sun. My daughter's got fans on her and everything. We're trying to get everybody to keep drinking water. And my daughter had kind of mentioned, like, I don't really feel good. I think I'm hungry. And long story short, she was not hungry. She and I ended up missing the game because the excitement combined with some dehydration and not eating enough earlier in the day, and she was just absolutely sick. So she and I ended up kind of this combination of in the shade, trying to find a breeze, trying to cool down. We went to the med tent for a little while and trying to keep getting her water and cool her off, and her just being kind of miserable, not entirely just because like she was sick, because it was all the heat, but also just because she had been really excited to do this thing, and now she wasn't doing it. But also, I didn't want to drive her home, just the two of us, because I couldn't really help her if she got sick. And, I mean, at a certain point, I wouldn't even have had time to drive her home, throw her at her sister's and say, hey, she's sick, good luck, and then go back and pick everybody up without everybody waiting hours while they were also overheated. So it was a really rough situation, and like I said, long story short, she and I did not get to see the game. It is on YouTube, so we're going to watch it on YouTube later, which I feel like is going to be a poor replacement for it, but I insisted that while I was trying to help her feel better, I told my husband to go back to the game several times. He does not do well with sickness, but also he'd been waiting for this game for like 2 years, so excited. So it was like, if you can't do anything, just go watch the game. Because otherwise, we're all here, we're all hot and miserable, and we paid for these tickets for nobody to see it. So I was very pushy that everyone else just go to the game, let me deal with her. And they said it was a good game. So that was really the only excitement from last weekend. My garden has been doing pretty well. I actually did harvest 2 cantaloupes last week, and that was really fun. I've grown melons before, but never cantaloupes, and they are amazing. So like they came out so good, and the cantaloupes on the vine, I think I have like 7 or 8 still on there, so I'm like, yeah. I do need to do some nice deep watering in the garden later, because it has been so hot here. The air quality in the Boise area has been awful. There's definitely places that have it worse than us, but we're getting a lot of smoke coming from, I want to say, Oregon and Washington. But there is, of course, local fires as well. Really, really love this climate we're currently in. This morning, the reason I didn't finish the other project is because I did have to work this morning, and that just kind of goes back to the beginning where it was like, oh, okay. I was going to finish that. There was other things I needed to finish, but, when things very rarely go exactly to plan, and when they don't go to plan, you just have to adapt and deal with it, whether you're happy about it or not. And that was really just what it was this morning. We had scheduling things that did not go to plan, and it was fine. It could have been so much worse. But dealing with all of that just changed what I thought I'd get done, which then changed what else I was able to get done, and not a huge deal, just minor annoyances. It's so only interesting if you're actually there and you know everything going on. So that's why it's a quick breeze over it. But yeah, the rest of the evening, we're going to watch Banana Ball on YouTube because my daughter, after she started feeling better, was really sad she missed the game. Right after she started feeling really bad, she was just like, I just want to go. Like, I think she was embarrassed. She was hot. She didn't feel good. But we made the call early on of, I'm not driving you back until I know that you're going to be okay on the drive. And it took us through the whole game to get there. So, not ideal. We made it through. And she really wanted to watch the game. So, it was one of those where it's like, okay, well, they recorded it. We'll watch it later. And like I said, there's a part of me that's like, I don't know if I even care about watching it on YouTube. It's not going to be the same. I don't watch recorded sports, but she really wants me to see it too since we both missed it. So we're going to watch it, and I'll work on my shawl while we do. I think that's all that's interesting life stuff. I'm umming a lot. I'm sorry. But yeah, that is everything I have. I've definitely gone way, way into the babble. I'm going to go ahead and get this editing so that I can go and watch Banana Ball with my daughter and my husband and have a snack and try to enjoy the rest of my weekend after having to work a weekend. It's only 4 hours. It's really not that big deal. But it means that I want to make sure that I still get plenty of time to relax and refresh before I have to go back next week. So that is all I have for now. Until we talk again, have a very happy making.